All right, Tracy Repchuk here. Thank you so much for joining me on your Kick Your Year into High Gear. I'm always excited to be doing this webinar, especially I always do it at the end of the year um, because it's something that I have done for the past 30 years. Literally, I've been in business since 1985. I started a software company when I was 19, and there isn't much that I haven't experienced, seen, or survived. And so, especially since this year has been a rocky one for a lot of people, and uh, so these are the steps that I use that has maintained me growth and income for as long as I keep applying it. And again, because one of the biggest questions I get is, how have you survived all of these years? And there's a lot of answers, obviously, somebody would have to that. That contributed to my success. But honestly, the biggest one is what we are about to go through this moment in time, and that is my year-end planning. So I'm going to take you through all the steps that I do every year, so that hopefully, no matter what happens, you can thrive and survive. Alrighty. Brief, quickie little introduction here. Who is Tracy Repchuk? For those of you who are relatively new to my community, I know I have a lot of clients that I make sure it is an impetus type of thing to attend this particular webinar for my clients, because you have to get in year-end planning. So they who know who I am, but for a lot of you, you might just kind of be popping on or found me through social media or something. In general, like I said, I started a software company in 1985. I have been on the internet and been in technology my entire life in technology and on the internet since 1994, before it was even the internet. I was doing website SEO marketing for and we were doing development for large corporations such as Walmart, JCPenney, Home Depot, government agencies, nonprofit agencies, all of these companies that required large volumes of transactions through some sort of gateway. And so that's what I was doing at that time. Then I got into heavily the aspect of branding, and how do you get seen and heard above the noise so that you can reach millions with your message. That's primarily what I help my clients do. For those of you who are really tired of mucking and playing with, what is my brand? What is my unique selling proposition? What should my website look like? What do I put in my funnel? What is my funnel? What's my landing page? What domain name should it be? That's what I do. I handle all of that for my clients. I build it all, and then I spend a year with you helping you to coach. I coach and mentor you and maintain all of the sites and activity. So that's primarily what I do. I am a mom of 3 kids. I have a son called Caleb, who is 19. I have a daughter called Celeste, who is 20, and another daughter called Kennedy, who is 21. And if you're thinking, wow, they were born relatively close together, you would be correct. In fact, they were born in the same month, exactly a year apart, and that is a formula I won't be repeating. Um, and you can just see a quick shot of us kind of just having some of our Christmas fun. For those of you who are British, you may see the crowns on our heads. That's from a cracker, and that came again from our British heritage. We've been doing that forever. And so that's primarily, I've spent, I guess, the last 20 years almost kind of traveling and speaking around the world and taking my family with me. And it's been a freedom lifestyle, and that's kind of what I want to also help build for you. So here we are going to now get into the meat and potatoes of it all. And how do you plan for success? Now, as boring as a lot of people might think this is, and again, if Dave got you the questionnaire, and I also posted it in the questions area if you want to just go click on it and take a peek at it. And you can again either print it, watch this again later. There will be a replay for you for later, and I'll make sure that you get the handout as well. But for now, you can just chill and relax and kind of watch it this time, because it's way too much for you to sit and do as we go through it. We're going to be going too fast, but what you can do is kind of just watch and see the steps, and you may even see one that you're missing that is actually maybe being one of the keys to why you're perhaps not achieving what you hoped to achieve this year. Again, if you want to be active in the questions area at the back, feel free to put some questions in there throughout. I won't be answering them throughout. I'm going to come to the end and answer some of these. But my business partner and husband for the last 22 years is back there. His name is Dave. If you see him, say hello, and feel free to shoot questions at him or ask him for things that you may need. Alrighty, so here's what we're going to cover today. The 3 steps to success, 30 years of profit, the forgotten focus, the powerful 3 M's, 4 quadrants of vision, and the secret sauce. Okay, so let's go through these. Again, if you're following along in the handout, we're on page 2, and it's called the 3 steps to success. So the first, we'll take a look at the 3 steps here, and they are planning, goal setting, and of course, taking action. Okay. So the first part is planning. And like I say, we're going to be hoofing through this. Don't think I can spend almost a week going through what I am showing you here for my own company. Just getting all of these elements in place and fine-tuned and improved. All right, so the first one is the planning. So you want to take a look at, what are your goals for this year and what is your 1-year outcome, right? And then what do your monthly projections look like to make that happen? So you'll list your income estimates per month. And again, spreadsheets are the best place to do that. And we'll go through each of these in a minute, one by one. You'll reflect on your strengths, your weaknesses, your untapped resources. We'll add marketing strategies. What are you currently doing in your marketing? And then what should you be doing, marketing to implement. Okay? All right, so first thing is your overall goal for this year. So let's just, I'm going to be a little vague, and let's just say overall goal is, freedom, kind of financial freedom or freedom. You can have a dollar amount in there, which the 1-year outcome type of thing. Well, let's say you want to make 6 figures, okay? And again, that is when I started my company, I made 6 figures in about the first 4 months of being in business in my new internet marketing venture, which I started in 2006. And so what I've done here is really I'm about to show you, kind of open the curtains here on how do you do that? How do you make money? And you're going to be amazed, quite frankly, how kind of simple it is. But in order to make it simple, it requires extreme focus. And that is where people often downfall, right? If you suffer from bright, shiny object, or you think something should be over there, or you're wavering constantly with what should you be doing, or you're supposed to raise your prices and you don't, whatever it is that's preventing you from reaching a goal like that. And again, if you've already hit your 6-figure mark, then you just keep shooting for the next higher amount, right? And then just keep moving yourself along that realm. So you're going to set this goal. And then in order to make that goal happen, now you have to get down to real nitty-gritty. So this is called monthly projections. And again, a lot of the times I'm dealing with holistic practitioners, coaches, um, speakers, authors, and you're not really taught how to do the money part of all of this. You're taught your particular skill and craft. Well, in order to make, $100,000, for example, you have to say, what are you going to make in January, Feb, March, April, and make sure, one, that equals $100,000, so that as you are going through your year, if all of a sudden you're at first quarter, end of March, and you've only made, $15,000, now you have to up your game in the last 3 quarters. And so by putting in projections and comparing them to your actuals as you're going through the year, this helps you to maintain a very strong um, uh, positioning on where are you compared to whatever your goal is, okay? So I use these really simple figures here, especially if you're just starting out and you're like, okay, what am I going to do? I guess in January I could make like 1,500, and then of course as each month goes forward, you can progress to an even stronger position because now you're getting momentum. You filled the pipeline. You're getting sales calls. You've got your landing page up. All of these fundamental elements start to get in place so that you can move forward. Here's one of the biggest things. So you want to start to write down what are your strengths. You want to reflect on those. What can you do well for your business? So let's say you are, let's say you're a healer of some sort, right? Whatever your modality is. And you say, I can remotely heal people, very well. Okay, good. So that's what you can do very well for your business. And then as you put down, what do you enjoy? Let's say you also put down, I love the healing part. I love getting up and speaking. I love doing webinars. Put down all of the things you enjoy. Because what you want to do here is as you move forward in your business, I mean, obviously in the beginning, you're everything, right? You're the chief cook and bottle washer, which means you're also doing your accounting. You might be doing your marketing. You might be doing your websites. You might be doing your social media. You might be doing your selling, and then you might be doing your servicing. Okay, that's kind of how a solo practitioner begins. But when you are very aware of what you do enjoy doing, that allows you to make sure that you are moving your practices towards you gaining more of that and getting rid or outsourcing the pieces that you don't really enjoy doing, okay? Here's the other thing that I want you to make a list of as well, and that is, what could you sell in a pinch? A lot of times people will come to me and they'll want to purchase my services, for example, for like my platinum program, and they want me to do it all for them, and and then have me guide them for the year. And so the first thing I always say is, okay, great. What could you sell in a pinch to make this easier? So that you can get like some money in the door right now. And again, when Christmas comes around or tax season comes around or some of these things come around that you need money for now, you always want to be aware of what this is. So you could be thinking, well, I've got this great service, or I've got this 21-day program. I don't want you to sell. I don't want you to say, what could you build in a pinch? This is sell. This means you've got it available today, including if you're really new, what could you sell? You could sell an hour of your time. I am against hourly selling. I am all about packaging. But if you're so new that you just need to get whatever, $500 in the door, then you sell kind of whatever, an hour of your time type of thing, or a 3-hour package, whatever you feel like you're worth at this moment. for what it is that you do. That way you can say, okay, if I wanted to like invest in a big program or really take on a marketing mentor, or I want to bring somebody in as an outsourcer, whatever it is that you want to do, you don't say to yourself, I can't afford that. You say, what could I sell? What could I do right now to make that happen? I want you to really take a look at the mindset that you're starting to apply now to your company, because you want to always and never always kind of believe in the forward motion and never say to yourself, I can't afford that, because that is exactly what's going to start to happen as you move through your business. Is everything that you want, you won't be able to afford. Okay, now what you're going to do is you're going to write down your weaknesses, okay? And here's where you're going to put down, what do you really need help with? What do you hate to do? This is the biggie right here, right? So let's say you're like, oh, I hate doing email. Quite frankly, I hate doing social media, or I hate doing anything to do with my web, or I hate whatever it is, right? You want to write all of those things down. And here's the reason why is, again, as you grow, you want to be able to identify what do you want to outsource. As soon as you have some income flow, you need to get all of those things off your plate so that you can focus on what you absolutely have to focus on. What is that? That is usually selling and delivery of your services. Those two things in the beginning, you cannot turn a blind eye. Even if you hate to do selling, guess what? What don't you do that you should? If the answer is also selling, it is something that you must focus on. Because a lot of people that, are new to business think that somebody else can sell it for them. Affiliates are going to sell it for me. I'll hire a sales team. Honestly, nobody can sell your services as good as you. When you get a system in place and a script in place and hire a reliable Salesforce team that understands what it is that you do, then you can start to farm out the sales process, okay? All right, then you're going to take a look at your untapped resources. What could you be using or leveraging, okay? So this type of thing might be, let's say you bought a package a few years ago from somebody and they said, oh, by the way, as part of that package, I'll send out an email for you. Okay, so what do you want to do? You want to put down, Jim said he'd send an email when I'm ready. So what you do here is you, again, get a campaign in place, whether it be a book launch, a product launch, anything, a end of the year blowout special, whatever it is, and you ask them to would they honor that email? Or let's say you met somebody great at a show or networking event, and they said something to you such as, if you ever need help, just let me know. Right? So then you can reach out and leverage, or at least make a list of these people that you could put on a list, and then leverage that. Let's say you are part of a large association, and they allow you to put something in their newsletter. Okay, so that means every month, if that's the case, you should be getting something in the newsletter. All right. So I want you to put down all of those, because when you need things like that, they can, be very good to help get you past kind of a certain plateau that you may have hit, or a ceiling, as some people call it, and push you over the edge, these extra kind of boost and marketing burners in place. Okay. Then now you start to get the 4 elements of your marketing strategy going. And so the 4 steps to that are to build a list, create a traffic hurricane, start to leverage and do social media and blogging, and then tap into some super traffic. So we'll take a look at each of these. All right, so if we take a look at some elements regarding like putting together a traffic hurricane, well, first thing, of course, we're going to do is build that list. So you want to write down what do you need to do to improve this step. So for example, your answers might look like, one, get a landing page. All right. If you do not have a landing page, that one-page site that allows you to extract a name and an email address off of somebody in exchange for a gift so that you can build a relationship with people, and so that they know, like, trust, and ultimately buy from you. That is step one. You got to get that landing page in place, and then you have to build your sales funnel. So build your sales funnel simply means decide what it is that you're going to sell and create an email drip feed campaign using an autoresponder and get that information to them. If what I just said completely has boggled your mind and you don't know, I have webinars in place, training webinars in place that I can show you, and they can educate you on those steps, okay? So you can say it into the chat room if you want, like, I don't really know what a landing page is, SOS type of thing. And I will get you links to prior webinars that I have done and trainings that I have done. All right, so then, of course, we have a place to send our traffic to. If you are sending your traffic to your master website, for example, my landing page is fastactionresults.com. My master website is tracyrepchuk.com. Yes, your landing page is an absolutely different site. And you're sending all activity to that. Your SEO, your email signatures, articles, press releases, social media, blog, all of those types of things I send to my landing page. If you're sending them to your master sites, mine being tracyrepchuk.com, you're wasting your time, because the email or the person will go to your site, and yeah, they're going to see a lot. They're going to get overwhelmed as a first impression, and they may have even gone there because you have an opt-in box on your site and said, oh yeah, this is great, yeah, I'll go there and opt in because you told them to. And then boom, they see a video, they see this, they see a funny tweet, they see something that distracts them, and they're gone. Okay, so it's important that you get that in place, and then now you start to add traffic to your site. So again, search engine optimization strategies, that means you're using the keywords that match your target market. If this is a little advanced, I have training webinars on this as well, okay? What I'm doing here, though, is giving you the year overview you need to do. Because, for example, all my clients, they have to come up with their 30-day traffic strategy. Because if you don't have a traffic strategy, then how do you know what you're going to be doing? If you don't have a market plan, how do you know when you're going to do a launch or promote a certain product or service and things of that nature? So you want to start to get that in. Email signature is simply the effective uses of the bottom of your email. Articles, you go through, you write an article, keyword base it, put it on designarticles.com. Viral marketing, you can do tell a friend, ebooks, things of that nature. Press releases, you can submit a press release to various sites. A blog, your personal blog, of course, that is in the underbelly of your site. For example, mine would be tracyrepchuk.com/blog. Okay, so you build your blog underneath. The reason is you want the attention of Google to go to your master site. You want all of those pages to be indexed and found when people are keyword researching for things that you provide. And then social media, okay? Make sure you're on the Grand Masters. Again, I have extensive training and an amazing product just for social media, if this is new to you. Now, Once you get those, once you establish kind of a traffic plan for you do it on a monthly basis in a way for what are you going to execute each week, and then overall you would do one for the year. But now, when you get a little more advanced, now you can start to add what's called super traffic. And so you'd start to implement what these are. And so affiliate marketing. Let's say you've been in business now for a couple of years and you're like, okay, I've met, I've attended a lot of events. I've got a lot of friends. I'm going to ask if, because your list is like, say, 3,000 people and, Joe Blow's list is 3,000 people, you can start to say to them, why don't I promote something for you and you promote something for me? Okay, so you establish a relationship where they will sell your stuff. Teleseminars and webinars. This is where you build relationships, get to know people more intimately, more rapidly. And that can happen in an example like this. A joint venture. So again, it is a step above affiliate marketing. It's usually where you are maybe creating a strategic partnership with somebody, or you have a special relationship, like their list is way bigger than yours. So maybe you're giving them a higher cut on your product or things of that nature. And then, of course, for the speakers out there, one of my favorites is personally meeting people through being a speaker. Okay, these are the traffic formulas or the traffic strategies that can super blast your results. Now, the next step, once you understand kind of the various traffic elements, what you need to be doing is writing down what are your current marketing methods. Okay, so let's say you're like, okay, well, I go to a networking event once a month, and I tweet, and I do Facebook, and I do YouTube video once a week, and I do a Facebook Live once a week. And, that's, you're going to write down all of these. You do a trade show, let's say you average, 7 speaking gigs a year, whatever it is, right? You're going to write these down because you want to get a feel for what are you doing, and more importantly, what is working. As you go through that list, maybe you start to say, okay, well, I did this monthly group meeting with this particular society, and quite frankly, I didn't get no business from that. And so now you can take a nice good look and say, you know what, I don't think I'm going to renew my membership to that. I'm going to maybe try another group. Okay, so that type of thing. It allows you to take a look and not just run blindly or on automatic into your next year. And then, of course, you'll take a look at all the other activities. Hey, I did LinkedIn, I did Google Plus, I did Facebook, I did Twitter, and quite frankly, LinkedIn was the only one that produced results for me. Great. Guess what you do this year? LinkedIn. You go hard in on LinkedIn. Okay. Okay. So, and then here's where you're going to take a look at the ones that you're doing and take a look at what were the results from those. Okay. Now, obviously, most people aren't sitting there with like hard figures, but you generally know. Like, for example, let's say if you're a speaker, well, you did, I don't know, 110 speaking engagements. Of those 110, let's say that 35 were very lucrative, 40 were okay, 10 were a bust, and I did 10 for growth, which meant you did them because the stage was, a very good opportunity for you to be seen by the different audience, that type of thing. You put the strategy down, and then you can take a look at, because this is what I had to do. When I started off as a speaker, I would have, I don't know, 140 engagements a year. And then now I'm down to probably 20 speaking gigs a year. And some might think that was a bad direction to go. For me, it was the absolute right direction. I only say yes now to very specific speaking gigs that I know will either produce the result of money or a next authority status, celebrity status, or a connection that I need. Type of thing. So I'm very, very strategic. Obviously, in the beginning, though, you just want to speak anywhere. And now that I've spoken in over 39 countries, everywhere from China to Kuwait to Dubai to South Africa to Singapore, Kuwait, all over the place, and of course, all places in between in North America and in the UK. And so it depends what your focus is. In the beginning, my focus was, build celebrity, build authority, build credibility. And once that was done, I got to change my focus. My focus became only choose the things that produce the biggest results. And so these are what you want to start to focus on. Like, for example, let's say last year you were awesome and you did a blog a day and it produced no traffic and no interest. Well, chances are you weren't blogging based on keywords, which was mistake number one. But so you do want to take a look at that. You don't want to necessarily drop blogging because it didn't work. You want to first take a look at why it didn't work. And things of that nature. And again, webinars and teleseminars, you have to start to take a look at those. Right now the telesummits are so popular. And so you got to start to say, is this one going to produce results for me? Is it going to produce opt-in? Am I going to get anything from it? That type of thing. And billboards, direct mail, internet emails, etc. And of course, social media. Record the results, and then you're going to decide, what do I want to really carry forward or focus on? That's the big thing. What do you want to focus on for the next year? Like, out of these, I'm focusing primarily on 3 strategies that are listed here and 1 that's not. Okay. Marketing to implement. Now, then you want to write down, what marketing methods should you be doing? Okay, so let's say those were there, but you had done no YouTube videos, but you're in a market that you should be doing social media videos, or videos communicating to your public to get attention to your website, to get attention to you, to build credibility, all of these things. Well, then what you want to perhaps say is, you're either going to do something such as, I'll do a YouTube video a week, or I'll do like a Facebook Live a week, things of that nature. Okay, and then you want to add, once you've got some staples in your toolbox for your traffic, now you want to say, I'm going to add maybe more articles, more press releases. I want to get some JV partners. I'm going to add pay-per-click. I'm going to do Facebook ads, Google ads, Twitter ads, YouTube ads, LinkedIn ads, whatever it is, right? I'm going to do more e-sign promos. I'm going to do some offline marketing with postcard testing, or I'm going to go to TV. Okay. So this is the progression of where you want to start that journey. Now, before we get into goal setting, just to kind of reverse the flow a little bit, I'm going to just do a poll here for 1 second. Let's bring that up. Make sure you're all out there. Here's the one I'm going to add. Here we go. Do you have your social media under control? Because obviously this is a big one. So just take a look at, so you're either going to say, I understand where my target is and what platforms to use. I've opened up accounts, but don't really know what to do. My social media is all over the place. I have no idea what I'm doing social media, and social media is a waste of time and I hate it. So let's get a feel for where you are here, simply because social media is a standard now in business. Obviously, when I opened my company back in 1985, there was no social media. But I'll tell you what there was. that was the standard was Yellow Pages. So if you weren't in the Yellow Pages and you weren't doing it well, you weren't found. And kind of in social media right now, it's the same type of thing. Okay, good. So I got some great percent here. Wow, really interesting. So you're going to like these results here. 14% say I understand where my target market is and what platforms to use. The 50% say I have opened up accounts but don't really know what to do. And 38% say my social media is all over the place. Here's the interesting one is nobody said I have no idea and nobody said social media is a waste of time. So that's really good results right there. Is you do understand the importance of it, and you understand that you need to be there. And the biggest issue that you're having is I've opened and don't really know what to do, or it's all over the place. That comes down to for it's all over the place, that's a branding issue. You need to really get your branding under control. And for the I've opened up my accounts, one, you want to make sure your accounts align, which means, for example, my Facebook or my YouTube or my Twitter or my LinkedIn will all be /Tracy Repchuk. You want to take a look at, does that align? Do you have the same name for all of those things? And then for the, and you don't know what to do. This is where the biggest and easiest way to overcome that is when you don't know what to do, you say, where is my target market? And then you focus there. So let's say, for me, my target market is in LinkedIn. So guess where I focus my time? In LinkedIn. Okay. So I have all of these others to secure my brand, but I don't have, but I didn't need to spend a lot of time on them necessarily. But it is good that you've opened up those accounts, of course, providing that you have the brand alignment in place. Okay. All right. So let's take a look now at goal setting, which is the next 3 steps to success. So generally, there's methods of always meeting your goal. And that is, you set the goal and you say, this is my minimum, this is the real result, and this is like a game changer result. Okay, so for each goal you set, you come up with those 3 things. So let's take a look at an example. So we go back to our budget, right? Our kind of our projections. And let's say you said in January, I want to make $1,500. So your minimum is you sell 1 item at $1,500 or 3 at $500. Obviously, you break that down and you sell enough to make that. The real result is you sell 3 at $500 or 1 at $1,500. The game changer is when you sell 3. So you would say, my goal for January is $1,500. The minimum is I could sell $1,500. The real is that, and the game changer is I actually sell $4,500. Okay. And that means that you've exceeded your projections and you feel great. All right, and here's my hint to you. It is just as easy to sell a higher amount, 3 at 500 versus 15 at 100. It is extremely more difficult to get bulk buyers, to get a lot of traffic, to get a lot of people to buy a lower cost item than it is to get a few people to buy a higher cost item. Okay? And that is a truism, I can tell you. I can always make it work for you to earn more at less. The best way to set this up is to set up a little bit of a template for yourself, a spreadsheet, where you kind of list your products, okay, and base it on your MRG. So min, real, game changer, okay. And then start to track what services you have and what products you have, and then track the percent. Okay, so let's say in my case I have Service 1, Instant Online Impact, and Platinum, and let's say that's 17.5. And for example, You know, a minimum goal might be to sell one of those a month. A game changer might be to sell 5, and then you start to track each time as to what actually happened. So at the end of January, I actually sold X, and then you want to also track the percent of that product or service. And here's why you want to know. Um, uh, People starting, especially new, or if you've been in business sometimes, you know, 7, 8, 9 years, all of a sudden you have 10 products and 5 services and 6 of this and 12 ebooks, and you're scattered, or you're fluent or flush with things you can be selling. But what that might also be doing is confusing the marketplace, confusing you. And if, let's say, for example, you have 5 guides or 5 books or something, and only one sells, and it sells, you know, 80%, and this one other book sells another 10%, and the rest don't sell anything. You need to, at that point, decide, do I want to continue with these books and market them properly, or quite frankly, are they not adding to my brand? And if something is not adding to your brand, which, you know, let's say the graphics are cheap, or it's just not written well anymore, or something's not up to the level where you are today, then you may want to discontinue that. Do a blowout sale, sell the thing for whatever, and tell people that you're discontinuing that product. That's a great way. You know how I said to make money kind of fast by coming up with what could you sell in a pinch? That's the perfect type of thing. Is a blowout. I'm kind of done with that product sale. And tracking, and I know for the non-numbers people out there, is a really important part. It is a really important part to be managing the money that you're making, the products that are selling well, the products that are diminishing your brand or your time. Sometimes at the end of the year, you can discover you spent 70% of your time on a product you loved that sold practically nothing, right? And yet this other little product over here chugged along like a train for you and allowed you to keep that company afloat. Um, you know, so be very careful about falling in love with something. You fall in love with what your audience wants. That's what you need to do. And so again, when you review a year and then set the new year in place, this very much allows you to grow and move forward, and not be playing hobby, but running a business. Okay. So then you got to determine the how. Saying, hey, I'm going to sell this in a certain month, right? Now you have to figure out how you're going to do that. So you have to select the market strategies, of which we went over a bunch of them. You start with your current and you work those, then introduce new ones. And if you are a brand new person, you just want to start with a free strategy session. You want to get people into your funnel, offer them a free strategy session, and then close them on your highest level program right off the bat. Do not even play when you get people on the phone with stuff for like under $1,000. You're really focusing on $1,000 a month. Okay, then you want to add the steps to do that. So then you will start to write the steps and activities needed to make that happen, and then implement a strategy each month. For example, if your goal was to, do I say it in the next page? No. For example, if your goal was to make the $1,500 and you wanted to sell, you wanted to actually play the big goal game, right? The game changer, you want to sell 3 at 1,500. You start to make the plans for the game change. That way, if you fall short and only sell 1, you still win. So you make the plans around the game change, and you say, okay, in order to sell 3, that means I probably have to get 15 people through onto a strategy session call. All right. So in order to do that, that means I probably have to get 45 people on my list. In order to do that, I'm going to have to network at 3 events. I'm going to have to collect cards, and I'm going to do a Facebook Live and direct everybody to my opt-in. Okay, so that's the type of strategy planning that would make that month a reality. Okay, so then the next element is the just kind of what I have done, right? And that's being able to profit for the last 30 years. And it's really come from this planning type of thing, and being able to track and change quickly. So, for example, let's say the goal is 1.2 million for the year. Well, you know, then if you haven't reached about 300,000 by the first quarter, you're going to be shy. So, what do you need to implement to make that happen? Do you need to put on an event? Do you need to get it on calls? Do you need to get joint venture partners in order to start to either make up the fall that you've had, or the shortfall that you've had, or what activities do you need to add? What do you need to strengthen? Do you need to hire more people? Whatever it is, right? The reason that I've been profitable for 30 years, including my very first year, has been the planning, the putting down the estimates, and making sure that I am implementing activities that will make generating that moment a reality. Because in the beginning, especially as you kind of just get started, you want to make sure that you are filling the pipeline, and it's not going fill the pipeline, get a bunch of people, do an event, or not an event, maybe even speak somewhere, get a pile of people in the door, spend the next 3 months delivering, and find out that your pipeline is empty when you emerge from delivery again. And for solo practitioners, that often is what happens, and that causes the roller coaster of effects, which means, yay, you got a flush month, and then 3 months of no income, and then a flush month, and then 2 months of no income. Okay, you're going up and down like a roller coaster. So you want to constantly be putting in these strategies in order to do that. And then you want to spread out what it is that you're doing across different platforms. And again, one of the biggest things that I teach is how to reach millions with your message. Of course, the internet and social media is a way to reach millions, right? There's 7 billion people on the planet, and 5 billion are on their mobile phones, and 1.7 billion are on the internet. There is a way to reach millions through the effective use, especially with the advent of social media. We can reach millions in minutes, and we've seen it happen. Speaking, of course, is another way, adding a book to raise credibility, authority, and then TV and publicity. All of these are kind of this progressive movement for raising credibility, authority, expert status, and ultimately reaching millions with your message. And so that means you need to implement strategies that do that for you, and then, of course, implement the traffic and the strategy planning to be able to sell. Okay, and so you just want to make sure that you've planned your year out to be able to do that. And again, one of the fun things that I had this year was in December and January. Prior to that, I averaged reaching about 20 million people a year. In December and January, I'll reach another 24 million people just from the interview that American Airlines has done with me, and it is airing on every single flight for December and January of this year, and of upcoming January. So that was a fun addition. And again, then you add strategy. In this situation, I am 100% focusing on helping CEOs come out from behind the desk and move to the front of the company by having their own personal brand, and whether it's launch a book, become a speaker, whatever it is. So that is beyondtheceo.com is the new strategy I put in place just for that. To leverage. And again, as you start to identify opportunities that will help your company grow, or you get more credibility, whatever it is, now you're able to additionally tap into the results and make it bigger, faster. All right, step 3, the forgotten focus. So what is the forgotten focus? It is monitoring and establishing moments where you're going to make money. And so one of the big things I make all my clients do is called a cash calendar. All right. So a cash calendar is every single month. And again, it is so easy now. We do this in 2 places. As a company, we have it on the wall, which means we have the entire year on, white plastic calendars on the wall. And every time we're either doing an event, a radio appearance, a speaking gig, a webinar, or whatever it is, that will go in green. And that means that's a cash day. Okay. And what you want to make sure is each month on your calendar, you see green, which means you need to at least see 2 green days in every month that are already planned. And you could also say to yourself, every Wednesday, I'm going to do my strategy sessions. And so you can put green on your Wednesdays, knowing that you'll schedule everything to that one particular day. So that is something that you need to make sure. And then what action are you going to take to focus on it every month? All right. So what you want to do is plan as much as you can at the beginning of the year. And then obviously you'll take a look at the beginning of every single month and make sure there's at least 2 green items on there. And that will keep you relatively safe in your income so that you don't have like completely dry months. Okay, now we're going to take a look at the power of the 3 major M's. Okay, so the M's are message, market, and media. Okay, so now you want to take a look at like, what does that first M, what does that mean to you? Okay, so here's a place where a lot of people do not have clarity. When you do not have clarity in your message, this is a downfall for everything else that you do, because it's at the very beginning of the entire cycle of your success of your business. So if we take a look at kind of the first step, market identification, right? Who are you going to market to? The second step is, what are you going to say to them? What is it that you do? What's your unique selling proposition? So actually, I'm going to do another poll here. Let's take a look here. Is your message and branding already set? Let's take a look at where you guys are. So, yep, I'm ready to rock and roll. My brand is set, but my message isn't clear, or my brand and message are all over the place, or my what? And which means you have absolutely no idea what I'm talking about. So yeah, let's get a little feel for what people are doing out there. Okay, excellent. Big votes already. So we got 20% at, yep, I'm ready to rock and roll. Very good. That means you've spent a year, probably, maybe even more, getting clearly defined on what it is that you say to people. For example, mine is like, get a fully branded online presence and reach millions with your message. Your message, and that was mine, for example. What you're looking for is for somebody to simply say, wow, I like that. Tell me more. Okay? That's the power of a message. And then the clarity of the message is when everything that you have, whether they come through Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, your website, your landing page, wherever they find you, that message is clearly identified. I don't see you as one person, one personality on one place, as another personality on another, with a unique selling proposition or a tagline on one and another one on another. Okay, so that's what that means. Okay, cool. And then 45% say my brand is set, but my message isn't clear. And that's good. So let me help any of you who do not understand the difference between a brand and a message. So your brand is the kind of the identification, a simplified identification of what it is and who you are. Okay, so it would include your unique selling proposition, the color selection to your target market. In many cases, of course, it includes a logo, which is that like quick identifier of who you are in your target market. And your brand is also everything from the minute you hand somebody your your business card, all the way to how do you answer the phone, how does staff treat your people, how do you treat your customers, how do you treat new prospects, all of it. All of that encompasses what a brand is. Your message, of course, is almost that one sentence that says to somebody, this is what I do. This is why you need me. Okay. Then 13% said my brand and message are all over the place. So that's good to hear that you know that. Okay. Simply because that identification lets you know a weakness, right? We've established a weakness right off the bat, and you know you need to be working on that. And then I like this, 0% said my what? Nobody got that. So nobody answered there, which means you're all aware now. Because I tell you, when I started personal branding over 10 years ago, branding was not on the radar of people because companies branded, right? But no, that's not the case anymore because the internet has made it a level playing field. And now you have to invest in branding. You have to get clarity on what it is that you do. And the second M, so that is market. We've been over those elements, and that is identification of how are you going to get your message out. Okay. And then media, that is the utilizing things such as social media, such as publicity, PR, TV, YouTube, any element that up levels your exposure through leveraging platforms that are already out there. Okay, cool. All righty. Now, when any of these elements, globally the 3 M's, message, market, or media, are broken, that means the entire wheel breaks, is what happens. If you've ever had a broken spoke, they all start to go after that. It warps it. And so if you are in any point struggling, it's usually a result that one of these is out and that you have, you're now kind of trying to operate on a warped wheel. Now, 4 quadrants of vision. So what you want to do in order to create some sort of balance in your life, and each year your focus will probably split and go hard in on one of these quadrants, but that's okay as long as year after year after year, some do not get completely neglected, okay? Because a lot of times if you're just starting your business, you're going to be hard. You could be focusing in 70% on your business and 10% on yourself and 5% over here, that type of thing. It will kind of come that way. But the understanding that there are 4 quadrants and you need to ultimately get those in some form of balance as you move through life. Like let's say you're in your 10th year of business now, and these quadrants are still massively out, something's wrong. You probably need a mentor, a coach, a mastermind partner, whatever it is. You need some help, okay? And when you start to create a vision, that helps you to be able to identify your destination and ultimately arrive in it. You can't get somewhere if you don't know where you're going. Okay, so if you take a look at a vision board, for example, we'll just take a look at this fun little one that I created. So the 4 quadrants are generally kind of your family, kind of yourself, your business, and then we'll call it, spirituality, personal growth, whatever words that you use is the 4th quadrant. All right, so what you want to do is in the beginning of the year, you want to set goals for each of those quadrants. All right, so in your business, you'll set some goals for your personal health. For example, you might say, one of my goals for this quadrant for this year is to lose 15 pounds or to get better core strength or be able to bend more, whatever it is, right? And then you'll have your family. You'll be like, oh, for those of you who are out of balance, you might definitely have things like, I want to make sure I stop work at 6 or whatever it is, right? And that it's all about my family at that point. Or I'm always available at lunch, or, set your pattern in place. And then for your spirituality or for your personal growth, you want to be saying things like, I'm going to be a part of a mastermind, or I'm going to make sure that I attend a retreat, or whatever it is that gets you closer to you being and feeling really good about yourself, your connection to God, your connection to spirit, however it is that you want to grow in that format. All right, so you'll set up your 4 quadrants and work through each of those, and just have them kind of in the back of your mind and be monitoring. For example, if the first quarter you get here and you realize you've done nothing in personal development and you're at 5% for family and 0 for you and 90 for the business, then we're a little bit off, okay? And that's where you got to start to shift your activities. And this is where the calendar becomes very important. One of the things that again, people ask me, how do I do as much as I do in the time that I have, right? We all only have 24 hours in the day. That doesn't change. Again, I had 3 kids at my feet when I started this particular venture. Me and my husband lived at home, and we co-raised our 3 children in paradise, quite frankly. That we created that scene. We moved home from the office. We had 15 staff go virtual in our software company, and we created, once the kids were born, our family focus, and all business activity went around the family. And then we added any personal things we needed and our personal growth and things of that nature. And year by year, with all of these in mind, we came to the point where we were balancing them in a beautiful way. Because what happens a lot of time is you are only as strong as your weakest link. So maybe you're booming in business or you're booming at something, and you're not taking care of yourself and your health goes out, boom, everything collapses, right? So these are just things to, again, keep in mind as part of your vision boarding and putting out a visualization on what do you want to accomplish, or what do you want these to look like? Again, when you have a set destination, it's easier to get there. Now, one of the great things that I really learned was, how do you make decisions easily? Okay. A good, successful person, and I've got to say I am amazing at this. When it comes to decision making, somebody will ask me a question and I will decide instantly. A lot of that came from trusting my gut over the years. So that's kind of how I do it. If you have ever been in a situation, though, where you aren't trusting your gut like you should because, something went wrong, maybe you made a couple of decisions and you're not sure why that happened, whatever it is, you just ask yourself, these two simple questions. Will this contribute to the direction that I'm going? And of course, you're going to know that direction when you set them in your goals. Will this, whether it's investment, person, activity, whatever it is, contribute to my arriving there or contaminate? Okay. You can even do this when you're selecting your clients. When it comes to my platinum level, I select my clients. I'm going to work with them for a year. I'm going to become an intimate part of their business. And so if a person, whether it be personality, whether it be what they do, whatever, is going to contaminate who I am and what I want to accomplish this year, you simply say no to that client. And so you want to, again, do this to help you decide quickly. And ultimately, you become very good in your head. Is this going to contribute to where I want to be next year? Yep. Okay, good. Go for it. At this moment, you're not asking yourself how. You're asking yourself, will it be good for you? And then you can work on the how. Okay. Again, one of the things I had was a 6-figure book deal that I had wanted forever. And so it's a funny thing, right? To be careful what you wish for. And then that book deal came. It was offered to me. I was going to get to write the dummy book for business to business. And I actually ended up turning it down because when I truly went away a little bit from my ego and what I wanted, I realized it was going to contaminate. Okay, it was going to contaminate. And when you go through this process, it helps to become clear. And again, this helps you when you can't look at your gut right now. Or in my case, I was deciding a little bit away from the end goal, okay, of what I wanted to have happen for that year. Okay, and then here's the other way that you can save yourself time. I am great at time management. And I've had to be, right? I juggle so much, just like each of you probably do. And so I learned these steps on how to prioritize. Sometimes it's opportunities, and sometimes it's simply what task I'm going to work on for the day and things of that nature. So when opportunities come and as you grow and as more awesome results happen for you, more people are going to come into your life and want to do opportunities with you. Or like with the 6-figure book deal, the opportunities are also going to come from that perspective. And now you have to decide what you want to do. So one, how will it make me money? That's the first question you're going to ask yourself. And sometimes maybe it's not going to, right? Let's take the 6-figure book deal. How will it make me money? Well, it's going to make me money by my what do you call that? Where they give you the money. It's not a deposit, but there was a word for it. I can't remember now. And then it would make me money from the royalties, right? And when will it make me money? In my case, it was 50% start and 50% on book delivery. What will it cost me? Bing, ding, ding, ding. What will it cost me to make that money? Therein, that was one of the biggest things that where I realized it wasn't going to be good for me, because it was going to cost me probably high 6 figures to write that book. I would have had to have practically taken myself off the speaker circuit at that time and out of the way that I produce. And I couldn't take on CEOs. Those are my diamond clients at $100,000 a piece. I couldn't take on too many of my platinum clients, at the 17.5. All of these things started to add up to the point where it was going to cost me a high 6 figures in order to take on the book. Will I enjoy doing it? Absolutely. I love to write So yes, then will it help me reach my ultimate goal? And there was the clincher. Will it help me? The answer was no. It was a stray from my brand. And the other thing is, in that particular year where I was going for an income level goal, this was going to annihilate it. And so, boom, there it is, right? And this is why you can see how all of these pieces fit so intimately together, um, and that it helps you to really understand if this is going to, if something is going to fit into your life. Okay, and then last but not least, one of the pieces that I do every year is I check out my bucket list. And so there's a couple of sections that I always play with to make sure that they're there, right? So one is adventure, and so I make sure, and we used to sit down with the family and we would all do our bucket list at the end of the year and say, okay, these are the things that I want to do, and then these are the things that I want to do, and we'd all look at each other's and we'd say, great, let's make sure we do zip lining, let's make sure we do whitewater rafting, let's make sure we do Great Wall of China, whatever it is, right? And so you make sure that those things happen on your adventure, or at least you're aware of them so that you can plan or take an opportunity. For example, I wasn't taking any speaking gigs practically unless it was China. Well, boom, didn't China come on my offer? Well, had I not been really clear of that in my head, all of these other speaking opportunities that came to me, I may have taken, but I didn't, because the only thing I wanted was waiting for now was China. And so when you get more clarity, it makes life very simple. And experiences. At that time, one of my big experiences was to get on TV. Now, maybe one, whatever one of your big experiences is, maybe it's to be a speaker and get on a large stage, whatever it is, you want to just have clarity on that. Bucket list destination, like I said, Great Wall of China, the Burj Khalifa in Dubai, things of that nature, whatever it is that you perhaps want to see. And again, it may not happen in this list, in this year, because my China one, gosh, it took me probably 6 years to get the China one. But it's always been there. Like, so in my destination, I might have 15 items. And let's say sometimes in 1 year, 7 of those items might be um, uh, kind of fulfilled, and then 6 aren't. Then before I move them to the next year, I'll say, do I still want to do this? Do I still want to do this? Do I still want to do this? And then I'll move them forward if I do. And if I don't, I drop it and add another. Okay, people you want to meet. Obviously, I wanted to meet Richard Branson in the worst way. Finally got to do that. I wanted to meet the Dalai Lama. Got to do that. And so there are certain people that I want to meet. And so I'll put them on my bucket list, because then, for example, and again, it doesn't have to be big, huge people like this. It can be a speaker you love or admire, a person, spiritual leader, whatever it is. And you just put it on there. And then this is how you pick opportunities. Like, you might see an event and it's like, oh, wow, there is a speaking event, and, Richard Branson's going to be there. This is how I did it. And he's got a VIP room opportunity where you pay this exorbitant amount for a ticket and you get to go and meet him. And I was like, bing, bing, there's how I do it, right? And so it just gives you clarity and helps you to fulfill the dreams and things that are important to you. Contribution. So this is, you establishing, what do you want to give this year? Whether it's your time, maybe you donate your time to a food bank, or maybe it's money, So I have very specific contribution goals that I want to make each year. And towards the end of December, like, especially as we really get it tight right now, I'm like, did I meet or exceed those goals? Now, this year I've exceeded my goals. So what I always do is then I say, do I want to do a little more this year? Or do I want to, wait till next year type of thing? And what do I want to set my next year contribution to? And you can be specific. You can put, you can be generic and just put a dollar figure, or you can say, I want to donate whatever, 30,000 to this organization, or I'd love to open up a school in Africa. Whatever your contribution is, you can start to make get some clarity, so that when you have extra funds, or when you have something or an event that you can connect to a charity or whatever it is, how what's important to you. And then a dream purchase. Do you have a dream purchase, right? And you sit that there. For example, like one of my dream purchases right now is I want the Tesla, and it's so funny. I had it. I ordered one for my birthday back in April, and we were going to almost take what do you call it, delivery of it in December, like now. And so I had set the dream purchase, and I was getting the dream purchase, but guess what? A circumstance changed. For a lot of you who aren't aware of my life right now, I am up in Mahone Bay taking care of my parents. And so that completely changed everything. So me getting this car had to, funnily enough, be canceled, because no sense me having 3 cars sitting in my driveway in Burbank, California, while I'm up here for what has been almost 7 months this year. And so but you want to set it right, because you want to be shooting for those goals. And then again, then it's okay, right? When things happen, you just be okay with that too. Like maybe you didn't reach your goal this year, and again, the same thing happens. Do I still want this goal, right? Well, guess what? My question for next year of do I still want this goal? The answer is no. That's not my dream purchase. My dream purchase may be a property up here in Mahone Bay. It might be a whole different thing now, right? And again, circumstances change, and that's why you want to do an assessment on your bucket list each year. Okay, so the planning for your success. We covered the 3 steps to success. Okay, so nice and easy there. That was just kind of setting your goals, monitoring your projections, focusing on your strengths and your weaknesses, just being able to identify those things clearly. Okay, and what could you sell in a pinch? What do you hate to do, so that you know what to outsource first, and what do you do? What aren't you doing that you should? Key question makes you confront, are you selling? Really what it comes down to. And what untapped resources do you have? 30 years of profit, going through that of me. And then, of course, that's something you can leverage. The forgotten focus, which is the cash calendar. Okay. Powerful 3Ms, which is, of course, the marketing and your message, and the media. Okay, integrating with the media, and the 4 quadrants of vision, which we covered, which was making sure that it will ultimately produce some harmony for you, which is make sure that, of course, you have your family and friends type of thing, you have your personal self, you have your business, and you have your spirituality or personal development. Okay, and then the secret sauce, to me, the secret sauce is actually the bucket list, right? This establishing the bucket list and really playing with that each year is fun. That's the fun. That is this side thing that it just makes everything that you're doing light and easy, and not so focused on the grudge work of running your own business. Quite frankly, there's a lot of work doing what we're doing, but I also know that you can't do anything else. You're like myself, right? We were put here for a reason. I am a catalyst for messengers. I help you get your message out through the use of online and quite frankly offline media and kind of methods. Your gift is whatever it is, and that is the thing you were put here, and you simply must do it. And I'm glad for that, especially now that we are at a very kind of important place right now on the planet, which we're at a tipping point. And the more good messaging, the more people are out there implementing safe, methods, pain-free methods, drug-free methods, all of these things that are helping to make the world a better place. That's exactly what we're going to create. We are on this beautiful create cycle now, and because of social media, we can overtake the airwaves and create good content. And that's why, I over the last few years, I've just gotten more and more and more excited as I see more people jumping in and saying, I'm here, I'm in this, I'm going to do whatever it takes to get my message to the world. And again, I want to be a part of this movement. So I'm really excited. So now I just want to talk for a few minutes on how can I help you put it all together, okay? For those of you, I'm not going to talk about my big programs where I do it all for you, but over the years, it has come to a point where people need to get the structure and the scope in place. And so I've, over the last 5 years, tested with hundreds and hundreds of my clients this particular system. And then on top of it, as you get an element of me, it allows you to stay focused. This program gives you that ability to break away from the pack. And that's really what I want for you this year. So what I'm going to talk about here is a system that shows you how to create the message, how to be brand you, online strategy. Everything is social media mastery. It's step by step on all of these. Outsourcing. How do you do a book or a product launch? How do you do speaker or speaking? How do you get on TV? How do you leverage your book or product, take it to the next level? How do you sell without selling? How do you put on your own live event and publicity, PR, elements like that? It is literally the end to end of everything that I've been doing for 5 years in step-by-step motion for you to be able to apply. All right, so let's take a look at each just briefly here. Every single month, you will do the lesson plan. You will print the step-by-step guide that takes you through your own business. Each guide ranges from sometimes, 15 pages to 60 pages, depending on the depth of the topic, okay? And so we start where we have to start. Create your message. For anybody who's a little vague on this module alone, this training month alone, will completely unravel that for you. And so it's step-by-step video details and examples, the works, all right? Then I take you, the next month you cover being brand you, because the more you brand well, the less you need to sell. Then the next month, again, understanding social media. It includes LinkedIn marketing, Facebook marketing, social media planner, all the elements you need step by step to, and more importantly, the understanding. Because it's critical that you know why you should be in Facebook versus LinkedIn. Maybe LinkedIn isn't for you. Maybe Twitter isn't for you. And you need to know that so you don't waste your time over there. Okay? And especially Facebook Live, which is so hot this year and in the upcoming year. Lots of details there. Here's this important piece, right? To me, this is the foundation of every company. List building and their landing page. It is the formula for automated income. It's how you create, connect, and convert everything that you do. It's also how you track and monitor and how you know if what you are doing is working. So you're going to get all the details on how to do that. Step-by-step for your marketing funnel. Sound templates, step-by-step videos, free gift layout, thank you page layout, autoresponder email templates, client site reviews that occurred, checklists, the works on how do you do this. One of my favorite topics, despite the fact that I am not a born salesperson. I am a technology wizard. I was called that from the age of 19 when I graduated with a degree in IT and programming. I learned marketing because I had a software company, and if I didn't learn marketing, I would be gone. Then I learned the importance of branding. Then I learned how to apply all of these to clients' websites and materials. And then the one thing that I learned and mastered, and again, look at the word learned. A lot of people will say you're a born salesperson. I was not a born salesperson. Here's what I learned, and here's what I teach. And that is, if your why is bigger than you, selling or offering your service at the cost that it needs to be sold at so that it is viable to the preservation of your business, and it is a perceived as the valuable asset that it is to the purchaser, there is just a certain way to present that as an opportunity. And I've mastered that, through great amounts of training. What I teach you, or what I take you through in this 5 kind of years that it took me to put this system together, is close to probably $600,000 or $700,000 worth of my own personal developments. Then I mastered a skill, and then I'm now turning it for you, showing it to you in such an ABC format that you can follow it. I take out all of the complexity of topics and make it really easy for you to do. And this is the important one. This is the cornerstone, is how do you sell a high ticket item so that you can really do what you need to do. Then how do you do a book, service, or product launch? I've done all 3 of these to great success. In fact, I'm a 7-time and #1 international best-selling author through book launches. Not only do I do that for clients who pay me to do book launches, but I also bring people into contributor books simply because I know that that book is going to become a bestseller, and now I get to offer that title to other people who need it as an expert in credibility piece. Speaker and speaking. This is probably one of the biggest modules, simply because my experience is profound in this area. I am a master speaker. I've done keynotes and been paid, $25,000, and I've made 6 figures in 90 minutes from the stage in 39 countries. I traveled with the World Internet Summit circuit for 5 years with the most powerful speakers in the world. Really, I tell you everything in this module, from if you're doing a multi-speaker event, where should you position yourself and why? What do you do if you get the crappy speaker slot? And how do you survive a 3-day speaker event and you're on day 1, or you're on day 3? And how do you put that presentation together? How do you create that closing presentation so that your offer is irresistible? How do you get keynotes? What do you charge? Everything. I unfold my entire success strategies and the pitfalls that I've hit, of which there have been many. I highlight those to you as well so that you do not hit them. How do you get on TV? Again, I've been on 20 major networks all over North America, and I know how to get on. I know what you say to a producer, and I know what the template has to look like for. They're going to ask you for a segment proposal. I've got 20 successful segment proposals, and you just take one of mine and put your own words in there and present it to them. Okay, I've gotten myself, my clients, all sorts of people on television. Then I'm going to take you through my your $1 million design. How do you create a $1 million empire from one small piece of information? I literally create my entire business from the content that's in my book. And a lot of people think, well, why don't I just go buy the book? $25, yay. I'll just get a copy of it. Well, because it's not that simple. If we could all learn everything we needed to do from a book, we'd all be billionaires. Okay. So, but the information that I hand walk the clients through, or I hand do for clients, or that I lay out in full detail for you, in whether it be a coaching program or or a mastermind group or whatever. Okay. And I'll show you how to build each one of these bubbles out. When do you jump to the next bubble, and which order should you do it in? Okay, and I go through all of that, the pros and cons of this ordering. And if you find yourself with no time, scattered, and you're trying to fulfill all of these, how do you correct that, move back, and start kind of position yourself again so that you can be making the money? When I started, in coaching, I made, like I say, 6 figures in the first few months of being starting my internet business. First teleseminar I did, I made $21,000 in 90 minutes. And here's the cool thing about that. I only had 13 people. You're going to hear, oh, I've had thousands of people on a webinar. Well, that's good for you. But I had 13 people on that webinar. 7 bought a $3,000 program. Boom. There's 21,000. That's as simple as it is. So I give you all of the details, the step-by-step details on how do you do that and things of that nature in this module. How do you do a membership site, again, how do you become a coach, things of that nature, how to set it up, stuff like that. And your own live event. I've been putting on my own live event for a very long time. I do it twice a year, Business Online Mastery. It's my signature event, and I've also experienced every mistake you can make practically on putting on events. And so I detail that for you. I give you all the checklists that I run an event with. I give you the pitfalls. I give you how do you start? Where do you start? I mean, all of these elements that will help you safely navigate putting on your own live event. There is one thing that I teach in here that if you don't know could bankrupt you, because people just don't know. And so that is there. And then last but not least, and we talk about it a lot, is traffic. Here's the thing. People think that if I just got more traffic, everything would be great. Then that's not true. You can get more attention, more traffic, do more social media. If you're not sending them to a landing page, and I'm getting back to that, what are you doing? Where are they going? How are you monitoring? How are you improving your success? How are you converting? How are you tracking those conversions? Traffic only works when you have a way to measure. And that's what a landing page does for you. That's why it's there. And then last but not least, how do you, remember I said about those things you hate get off your plate? How do you get a reliable outsource person? We've been doing outsourcing in my company since 1994, well before outsourcing became popular. Outsourcing became popular around 2010, to give you a scope. And so, and we were doing that because we were a custom programming house. And so we were doing things in Ukraine and Russia and India and things of that nature. Now I've got it down to an art on how do you select a person and have them stay with you. I've had staff with me for 10 years now, or outsourcers for 10 years. And so it just becomes a way of how do you get them on? What do you say? What do you pay? Things of that nature. And literally in this entire system, I've opened the curtains and you get it all. So what is this lovely thing? Okay. It's called Message to Millions Mastermind. It's the ultimate business online transformation. How to look great, professionally match, rise above your competition, and reach millions with your message in step-by-step format. Okay. So the program is $4,997. If you go online, buy it now, messagetomillionsmastermind.com, it's $5,000. Okay. I am doing a special till the end of the year where you can get this and save, it's not $4,500, it's save $3,500. I think that's right. Yeah, it's $1,497. And so you're going to get everything. So not all the system that I showed you, all those modules, and you're going to be meeting with me once a month. Okay. If you go to messagetomillionsmastermind.com and you put in the promo code all uppercase BOMOFFER, all right, then you can get this $14.97 price. In the back end too, for those of you who are there asking questions, just talk to Dave, and he is there. He can answer anything for you. Yes, we can do some split payments. And in fact, there's also a thing where if you want to use PayPal, you can apply for credit and get this thing for free for 6 months through PayPal. So if you want to know how to do that, just you say in the back end and we'll help you apply for that credit. For those of you who want to spend the next year with me for $14.97 every single month, we're going to get together and you're going to work on the lesson, or you're going to apply it to your business. Then you're going to ask me questions on the monthly meeting, which is online. Anyone from anywhere in the world can attend this. And then we're going to be together, and you can say things like, what do you think of my landing page? Let's say we're working on that month, or, something about your social media, whatever it is. Each month we do a different topic, and, I'll be answering questions from that. So I also want to double my offer and to guarantee your results. What I want to do there is, I told you twice a year, I do an event called Business Online Mastery. I'm going to give you a free ticket to that. It's 3 full days of training with me. It's not a multi-speaker event. All we're doing is I am taking you through. If you see the steps on the event calendar here, and I'm going to give you the dates for the next one. It's March 30, 31, and April 1. It is in Manhattan Beach, California. All right, just so you can pencil that out. You'll see day 1, create your message, being brand you, list building and landing pages, social media. It's the system that you're going through. I'm spending live time with you, walking you through it. Branded websites, your $1 million design. You can see from the agenda, that's exactly what I'm going to be taking you through. Okay, traffic, reaching millions with your message, all of these things. Okay. And so because us being together for 3 days is a game changer, and I guarantee it. Everybody that has left this event has changed from the day they walked in to the day that they left in a positive way. You're more empowered, you're more confident, you're more certain. Everything goes in the right direction, and you're going to get a free ticket to that. It will help you. Being in a mastermind like this, where I am constantly monitoring kind of each month, are you doing your lesson? Are you showing up for the webinar? Are you showing up to ask me questions? Stuff like that. It's making sure that you're going to stay focused. So it's messagetomillionsmastermind.com. And then when you're checking out, in all uppercase, BOM offer. Okay? One word. It'll let you work on your business. You get entrenched in the day-to-day. You can't see things like what is unique about you. Should your brand be this? There's no one to ask and so it allows me to continue a year-long relationship with you where I can get a full scope of what you are doing. The other thing I want to tell you is I've never offered it at this price, and it's only going to the end of the year. It's just that we're in the process actually of doing a brand new rebuild of the entire system. Even my Message to Million Mastermind members who have been with me year after year after year, they're going to port over to the new system. And so you guys are going to be the first to go through this new layout. And so I'm doing this offer right now just to get some new people into the system and to spend the next year making sure it all goes great. Okay, and mastermind. This is where I'm going to hold you accountable. Others are going to hold you accountable. It's going to allow you to stay on track, and it's going to keep you moving forward. Working by yourself day by day at home is just one of those things that makes it incredibly hard to do these three things. Going to events is great. I obviously do a lot of it, but being connected to one group that says, hey, did you do this week or do this month or whatever, right? It just really, you will hold yourself in higher standards for others than you kind of do for yourself. It's just nature. The time that you spend on your business is going to allow you to kind of increase trust and allow you to be the mentor, the leader, and the visionary that you are. When you get more solid and when you feel great about your unique selling proposition and your message, and you have clarity on your brand and your social media is streamlined and getting more integrated, and you have your landing page in place, and all of this stuff is starting to really cohesively gel from end to end to a point where the experience that somebody has, no matter from where they find you from, is consistent and congruent to who you are. And that way it just leads to definitely more success. Allows you to play a bigger game. Okay, again, the accountability factor and that safety net that you have with a mastermind group allows you to take a few more risks. So again, oh, this is my double the offer. I want to triple it now, because I'm going to give you lifetime access to the materials. So when, let's say, when the mastermind term is over and you're in the 1 year of me being involved in this process expires, you will maintain access to the program. Okay, you will get to, because let's say you only got this year as far as speaker and speaking or something, but you really didn't get to implement the TV strategy like you wanted to. Well, no problem. The door's not closing. You're going to be able to now spend the next year implementing that TV strategy because you're going to have access to all of the details. It's not going away. And your business is only as strong as your weakest link. Then, here's one thing that I want to offer you as well. Is in order to get that 360-degree view and your next quantum leap move to the first 7 that take advantage of this right now, I'm going to include a personal strategy session with me. I'm going to take a look at your stuff, your websites, your whatever, and I'm going to specifically tell you what modules you need to jump into. I may say, oh, you're looking strong here, but this is really weak. I want you to get into being brand new and take a look at the unique selling proposition. You have to improve that. Or it might be, you know what, you really have to get on your message right now. You want to launch, you want to spend your next year really with your strong message. Or I might say, wow, you've got it going on. You need to get into the high level speaking or TV. Again, every single person I talk to is different. I want to give you that time so I can make sure that you will be using the system in the best way possible. So again, it's $14.97, usually $49.97. It's going to expire at the end of the year. You put in the code BOM offer, and you're going to get all of this amazing stuff, including 3 days with me. And for those of you who act fast, a strategy session. The last but not least is I have a private forum that I go to every single day. It's the first place that I go. I just talk to clients. I tell you what I'm up to. I tell you anything I'm going through. I'll tell you a new strategy that just came out that I'm testing, and I'll let you know the results as soon as I get it. And you're able to ask me stuff back there and ask all of the members stuff back there. So this is a private, closed client community, and I'm giving you access to it this year because, again, you're part of my inaugural founding launch of the new system. So that's it. All of this, over $32,000 of value, $14.97, and BOM offer is the code. So I am just going to quickly come out and check questions, make sure everybody's got it. Okay, can hear, okay. Cool. Still available. Okay. Okay, interested in SEO strategies webinar. Traffic plan. Okay. Again, the traffic plan is part of this. You'll simply click on the module and the plan is there for you to set up for yourself. How do you figure out where your market is? That's kind of module 1 as well, is market identification and target market. It's thing. And then the next part of that question you said is, I've been focusing on Facebook and been told that Instagram would be the best place to focus. Nobody can say that to you unless they know who your target market is. Because Instagram, like, I don't use Instagram at all. It is not my target market. Do I own the Instagram? Do I post to it? Yes. Do I expect money and income or major followers? No, I don't. So yes, I do have a method to figure out where your focus is, and module 3 for social media tells you where you should be spending your time based on that target market. Email campaigns, okay, growing your list, yes, okay, cool. Yep, traffic plan is in there. No brand, but my message is very clear. Okay, so so that's good. If your message is clear, you now have to build the brand around that. And what I mean by that is, I should be able to look at your banners in your social media. Everything should have your message. Then I should be able to look at your website, and that should clearly be there. Your colors should not vary. And more importantly, your colors should match your target market. And if you don't know who your target market is, that could be an issue. Okay, thanks for sending info. Okay, great. Okay. Someone's going to get somebody on Fiverr to do this. Here's the thing. Fiverr people are awesome for graphics, but they don't know strategy. They don't know marketing. If they did, they wouldn't be on Fiverr. I can tell you right now. So use Fiverr for graphics. Don't use Fiverr to create your website or create your marketing strategy or get your whole life in place, or your whole business in place. Because if they were good at what they do, they wouldn't be on Fiverr. All right. Yeah. Okay. Yes, Zarak, I actually saw that in your submission, and I did reply to that. Time management, yes, time management. So one person said my time management is terrible. Honestly, time management is one of the #1 issues, because we have 100 balls in the air as entrepreneurs, and including the family ball. The family, we're juggling that, we're juggling this, we're juggling our personal life, we're juggling. As you get older, you're also juggling your parents. All of these things are vying for your time, and that's why it is important as part of a mastermind group here. And how do I know that? I'm part of a mastermind group. I run one and I'm part of one. They are important for me too, and that's, I don't walk a talk or whatever it is that I don't know about. And so it's just an important thing to have in your life. Words, text sorted out, but can't do anything on the computer with graphics, logos, website. Okay. Again, website is great for this, but very hard to have a Fiverr person do your website. It's great for a guide cover and maybe even a logo. Be in the beginning of your day. Okay, thank you. Okay, Dave, please let me know. Okay, great. Perhaps. A lot already know. I think I need a VIP type session. I do have VIP type sessions. They're called Online Clarity Cleanse. If you go to onlineclaritycleanse.com, that's where you can buy a true one-on-one session if you would like. Landing page, yes, yes, yes. Get that in. Okay, okay. Thanks for your help. Awesome. Thank you so much. Okay. US only. Oh, for the PayPal thing, I did perhaps think it was maybe just for US people. Yeah. Okay, bit of a bummer. Here's the thing though. Here's the benefit Canadians have, because I have a couple of Canadians saying they can't get the 6-month no credit. You guys get crazy credit. Down in the US, they've cut our credit. They've cut everybody's to nothing. There's, there's very few. The credit cards are all high, and balance transfers are difficult. Okay. In Canada, and I know this because I'm also Canadian, in Canada, man, my credit cards are through the roof, which means if I want 50 grand, 60 grand, they'll say, okay. Down in the US, if I want, 10,000, they'll say you can have, 5,000. You guys have the credit space. Landing page, virtual assistant. Yeah, for those, for anybody who wants a landing page created for them in their funnel and things like that, I do have a package for that. If that's something you're in the market for, just reach out to us and I can get you the details on that. I've had a couple of people say, I don't want to do that. Can you? The answer is yes, we can. Okay. Potential clients when they're selling. Okay. Yes. So yes. Sorry. Yeah. Did not know if it was only Canada. I have not experimented with PayPal at all. The PayPal credit, because I haven't applied for it or used it myself, but we did set up links for it. But apparently it's only for US. Okay. Cool. Okay. Cool. And Frederick, yes. If you want to shoot us an email, Frederick, it's you can go to Tracy at tracyrepchuk.com. On what you're looking for, I can get you a cost for us to do all that for you. And, honestly, it's a great way to go. It's where I start every client. Even when clients start in the Platinum program, I start them with the landing page, because why are you marketing if you don't have a way to capture your audience? All right. So that's it. I don't see any more questions. For those of you who have jumped in quickly, yay, 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 because you're going to get one of those fast action calls with me. And if you have any questions, reach out to the company. Our phone number is 818-859-7210. Feel free to call us if you have any questions. If you go in there, let's just take a look here. This is what the page looks like. You will select this one right here. And you'll notice when you go in, it's $4,997. And you'll simply right here, you'll type you'll type BOM offer, and you'll click apply. And it should, okay, let me try this. Let me do BOM offer. It could be an error on our page. Now what's funny is I tried this earlier and it worked. If you are having problems, good thing to bring up. If this promo code is not working for you, just let us know, and we will get that rectified, and we will get you in at the lower price. Plus, I'm going to give, and I will make sure that you do get the offer and a call. If any of you were not able to get in, sorry, we have 4 buttons. Apparently, only some were updated from what I can see. No problem. We will get you in and give you that call. If, for example, you come in at number 12, but you tried to purchase and couldn't, then we will honor the call with you. Okay, so that's what we'll do there. Just let us know that you're trying to get in. Can someone please contact you to get you the offer code, and we will definitely do that. And again, here's the link, the message2millionsmastermind.com/YE plan for success.pdf. For anyone who wants to walk through this again, watch it again, and fill it out for yourself. Okay? And it's always good to do. So that is a wrap, guys, for me. It has been my pleasure and honor to serve you. I really hope that you join me in the mastermind. I'd love to get to know you over the next year. It would be a lot of fun. getting more connected to you and your vision. And of course, in helping you to really to kind of develop that message and get out there. That's my purpose and goal. Is to help you reach millions with your message. And this program allows you to get the structure and steps in place to make that a reality. So again, any questions, reach out to us. We are here. And I really am excited for 2017. I believe we are at a turning point. I believe everything is about to change. And I want you to have the elements in place so you can take advantage of your, what I call Oprah moment, which means that perfect opportunity comes your way and you are ready to handle it. Okay, so that is it for now. I thoroughly enjoyed spending this time with you. Thank you so much for those of you who are doing kind wishes now to my parents. I really appreciate that. And I look forward to seeing you ripe and raring to go in 2017 and the years beyond, because you'll be a part of my private community. We will be family for life from this moment on. So it's going to be a lovely experience. And again, that's message2millionsmastermind.com. And I believe it is, again, that code is BOM offer, if I'm not mistaken. Hopefully I've been putting it in correctly. Yeah. And I will see you on the other side. Bye for now.